You will not build generational wealth by chasing the next flashy AI trend, crypto coin, or viral marketing hack.
If you told me you owned all of the Bitcoin in the world and you offered it to me for $25, I wouldn't take it because what would I do with it?
You need to be a bit cynical about this whole hype cycle in the tech industry. I hope you all realize that. Before AI, it was crypto. Before crypto, it was whatever.
I'm not proud of my country for allowing this crap, what I call the crypto it's worthless, it's no good, it's crazy.
The real money is quietly moving away from speculative volatility and into unglamorous structural stability of the real economy, where massive demographic shifts are leaving trillions of dollars on the table for the taking.
The real money isn't made in crypto schemes and NFTs and Airbnb arbitrage. It's in these boring businesses that have reoccurring revenue.
The entire software industry in the United States is about $650 billion in 2023, and the plumbing, HVAC, and electrical business is about $500 billion. So it's absolutely massive.
About 80% of our effort went to the student storage business, about 20% went to the storage facility. And a couple years after we built the thing for $2.9 million, it was worth $5.5 million.
Is it a good time to start a cleaning business or not?
I think it's the best time to start a cleaning business. After the pandemic, it seems like everybody wants their home clean. To give you an idea on how much of the demand is, or last year our monthly revenue was $60,000. Now we're like $120 a month.
If you ignore this shift to chase the shiny object, you can look back in 10 years and realize you missed the single greatest and easiest transfer of wealth in human history.
Never chase the hot thing, whatever it is. That's like trying to catch the wave and you'll never catch it.
I think there's a lack of thinking about legacy and long-term marathon thinking right now in a sprinter's mentality where there is a lot of access to capital and everything feels shiny.
Focusing is about saying no. And you've got to say no, no, no. And when you say no, you piss off people.
Look at the story of Service Corporation International, or SCI. In the 1960s, the funeral home industry was completely fragmented. It was thousands of small family-run businesses that operated in isolation, separate from each other. They had no scale, they had no succession plans, they lacked the resources to modernize. SCI saw what nobody else saw. They didn't try to invent a new way to bury people. They didn't try to disrupt death. They simply started buying up these small independent operators. They kept the local names on the door so the community relationship stayed intact, but behind the scenes, they plugged every single acquisition into a centralized system. They standardized accounting. They bulk bought caskets and insurance. They centralized the boring back office work. By doing the unsexy work of consolidation, they built an empire that now runs over 1,900 locations and generates billions of dollars. They became the giant of an industry that no one wanted to talk about. So I learned the lesson the hard way when I was just 22 years old. I was an owner in a biotech software company. I had this massive deal on the table. For me, it was a $40 million deal. That was huge at the time for me. And at that age, that was life-changing money. This was the I made it moment, right? It could have been. I had the connection, I had the opportunity, but I lost the deal. I lost a $40 million deal because I was trying to be too perfect. I was overthinking every single email. I was trying to craft the perfect pitch. I was scared. I was hesitant. I lacked the discipline and the systems to just execute. I was treating my business like an art project instead of a machine. And I look back at the 19-year-old kid who was struggling to make $300 a month in the first year business, and I realized I was still carrying that fear. I didn't have the boring consistency that was required to close the big deal. I let my need for perfection kill the momentum of the deal. And that pain, the sting of losing a $40 million deal, taught me that success isn't about being the smartest genius in the room. It's about having the belief to build a system that works whether you feel like it or not. Now, you might be thinking right now, but Evan, I don't know how to fix a toilet. I don't know how to, wire a data center, and I definitely don't want to run a funeral home. So the key here is not to look at these boring businesses as a technician. You be the entrepreneur. You don't need to be the one crawling under the house or driving the hearse. You need to be the one who brings the belief, the vision, and the systems to the people who are already doing the work, but lack the leadership and inspiration to grow. You're not buying a job. You're building a platform to serve. So today we're going to break down the 5 boring businesses that are poised to create the next wave of millionaires. If you've been here before, drop a hashtag Believe in the comments below so I can feature you here in a future video. And if you're new, welcome to Believe Nation, the only channel that helps you believe in yourself daily, one video at a time. Believe. Business number one, the essential service foundation, HVAC and plumbing. So the first sector is the absolute bedrock of the economy, HVAC and plumbing. So this isn't about unclogging drains. This is about capitalizing on a massive economic reality called the repair over replace mentality. So right now, millions of homeowners are locked into their low rate mortgages from a few years ago. They're not moving. They are not trading up to new houses. They're staying put. And because they are staying put, they have to maintain what they have. So when a furnace breaks in the middle of a winter freeze, nobody says, maybe I'll wait until next quarter to fix this, right? This is non-discretionary. It's immediate. It's a crisis that needs a solution right now or you freeze. So in 2026, this sector is projected to generate $1.76 trillion globally. That's a massive pie, and you only need a tiny slice to change your life. But note this, it's not just about demand. It's about the business model. Most plumbing and HVAC businesses are run by operators who are technically brilliant, but operationally a disaster. They have high windshield time, right? That's time spent driving empty trucks between jobs. They have variable material costs that eat up 180% of their revenue growth because they buy parts one at a time at retail prices instead of bulk ordering. The millionaire opportunity here is to acquire these small owner-operated shops, the ones doing maybe $1 million in revenue, and professionalize them. You implement first service management, FSM, software. So you optimize the routes your technicians are billing hours, not burning your gas. You create a subscription model. Think about it. Instead of waiting for a pipe to burst, you sell a healthy home subscription. For a monthly fee, the customer gets priority service and annual checkups. You turn a one-time crisis transaction into a recurring revenue stream. This increases the lifetime value, right, LTV, of a customer from a transactional $3,500 to a relation-based $12,000. You're applying my core philosophy here, model success. You don't need to reinvent the plumbing robot. You just need to look at what the big private equity firms are doing and do it on a local scale. They are buying these businesses at 2 or 3 times earnings, and by adding systems, selling them for 7 or 8 times earnings. That's how you build wealth. You're not just fixing pipes, you're fixing the business. Number 2, the infrastructure play, electrical and data services. The second sector is where the physical world meets the digital world, electrical and data infrastructure. So everyone's talking about AI. Everyone wants to build the next ChatGPT, but nobody's asking, how do we power it? Data centers are the engines of the AI revolution, and they are hungry. The global power consumption for data centers is projected to skyrocket by 2030. We're moving from standard server racks to high-density AI racks that require massive amounts of electricity and cooling. This has created a critical shortage of licensed electricians who understand high-density power distribution. So we're seeing a 33% surge in deal volumes in construction services because the big players are desperate to acquire smaller firms just to get their talent. If you start or acquire an electrical services firm today, you're not just wiring homes, you're a strategic partner now in the AI revolution. You're retrofitting existing facilities with liquid cooling systems. You're installing microgrids and battery storage systems because the main power grid cannot handle the load. So the opportunity here is specialization. You position yourself not as a generalist, but as an expert in grid modernization and renewable interconnects. The pain of the market right now is a lack of power and infrastructure. So the market is screaming for a solution. If you can step in and serve that pain, you become invaluable. And don't let the technical nature of this scare you. You might even say, Evan, I don't know how to wire a server rack. Good. You shouldn't. Your job is to find the people who do. There are brilliant electricians working for wages right now who have no idea how to find clients or manage contracts. You partner with them. You provide the business structure, the marketing, and the vision. They provide the technical skill. When you can combine electrical services with something like HVAC or plumbing, you create a single source solution for facility managers. What that means is it makes you sticky. That makes you essential. And businesses that are essential trade at multiples of 8 times earnings or higher. That is wealth. Also, if you want to take real action after this video, I made a free worksheet just for you. It covers the top lessons from today, gives you space to write your biggest takeaways, and helps you build a simple action plan. It's 100% free. Just click the link in the description and go grab it. I'll see you there. Number 3, the compliance necessity, commercial cleaning. The third business is one that most people look down on, but smart money loves. Commercial cleaning. So we're not talking about residential house cleaning here. That market has high churn and low margins. We're talking about specialized commercial cleaning. So think about medical facilities, industrial clean rooms, post-construction cleanup. Hygiene is now no longer about just looking clean. For businesses, it's about compliance. It's about health standards. This is a legal requirement. The market is projected to reach $330 billion, but the winners here are using technology to change the game. So they're using sensor-driven cleaning. So imagine installing small sensors in a corporate restroom or a conference hall. Instead of cleaning on a fixed schedule, whether it needs it or not, you clean based on usage. Data shows that facilities using these more data-driven platforms reduce labor hours by 23%. That's pure profit margin going straight to your pocket. So we're shifting our mindset from janitor to asset manager. You're protecting the asset of the business owner. You're ensuring their compliance so they don't get sued. So this is where you apply the rule of service. If you walk into a client meeting and talk about mops and buckets, you're a commodity. If you walk in and talk about profit command centers and scope creep protection, you're a consultant. High-performance cleaning businesses are targeting earnings margins of 27%. They achieve this by firing the bad clients. They use automated job costing to see exactly which accounts are losing money. They stop accepting credit cards with high fees and move clients to ACH payments to save that 3%. This is a business of inches. It's a business of discipline, and it's a business that is ripe for a roll-up. You buy 3 or 4 small local cleaning crews, you put them under one brand, you implement these sensors and billing systems. Suddenly, you have a regional powerhouse that private equity firms are dying to buy. Number 4, the ultimate recurring revenue, pest control. So the fourth business here is arguably the most recession-proof business on earth, pest control. So think about it. If the economy crashes, you might cancel your Netflix subscription. You might stop eating out. But if you have rats in your kitchen or termites in your walls, you are finding the money to fix it. It is not optional. The US market is hitting nearly $30 billion, but the real story is the green premium. So the consumers are terrified of chemicals right now. They don't want poison sprayed where their kids and their pets play. Companies that position themselves as healthy home protection using eco-friendly, non-toxic solutions can command prices 25 to 40% higher than the guy spraying the old stuff. There's also a massive shift to smart monitoring. This is using AI-connected traps and sensors. So instead of a technician driving out to check empty traps, which costs you money, the system alerts you exactly when and where there's activity. So that shifts the entire business model from reactive to proactive. And the math on this is actually pretty incredible. A typical startup cost here is about $150K, but the value is in the root. So once you acquire a customer on a subscription plan, they stay. The churn is incredibly low. So it connects to my belief that consistency beats talent. You don't need to be a genius to run a pest control company. You just need to be consistent. You show up when you say you will. You use the technology to be more efficient than the old school guys are. There's also a regulation play here. The new EPA regulations regarding the pesticide general permit are coming into effect. So most small operators are going to be overwhelmed by the paperwork. They're going to want out. This is your opportunity to acquire them. You master the compliance. You turn the regulatory burden into your competitive moat. You win because you are willing to do the hard, boring work of understanding the rules that they aren't. And number 5, the real estate cash cow, self-storage. The fifth and final business is the darling of the boring real estate world, self-storage and small bay industrial. So you might think self-storage is saturated. You see the big orange doors everywhere, but the market has actually shifted. So we're entering a period of normalization. So new supply is slowing down. Development is getting harder. That means the existing assets are becoming more and more valuable. So the opportunity right now isn't to build a massive new facility from scratch. The opportunity is to find the single-story drive-up facilities in secondary suburban markets, the mom-and-pop operators that are still using padlocks and paper ledgers. You acquire these facilities. You implement digital management systems. You put in smart locks so customers can rent a unit on their phone at 2 a.m. without you having to be there. You add climate control. You turn a passive box into a technology-enabled asset. The demand drivers are pretty undeniable. Millennials are moving into smaller urban apartments and they need space. Baby boomers are downsizing to retirement communities and they need space for all of their stuff. The demographics here virtually guarantees demand. And if you look at the small bay industrial, these are the spaces used by the plumbers and the electricians and the pest control companies that we've already talked about. occupancy rates are exceeding 97%. If you own the space where these essential businesses operate, you win twice. So it ties back to a concept I love about momentum. You start with one facility, you fix the operations, you refinance, you use that capital to buy the next one. It becomes this compounding game. So you're not betting on one unicorn. You're betting on human nature. We all accumulate stuff and we need a place to put it. The strategic investor here looks for synergy acquisition. So you buy 3 or 4 of these underperforming facilities in one region, you run them from one central dashboard, you cut the labor costs, you increase the marketing, and suddenly you have a portfolio that an institutional buyer will pay a premium for. Stop waiting for the perfect moment. So you now have the roadmap. You have the 5 sectors. You have the strategy. But knowledge without execution is useless. The only thing standing between you and the life that you want is still that story that you keep telling yourself about why you cannot do it. So stop waiting for the perfect moment. Stop waiting for the sexy idea. The boring path can be your profitable path. Pick one, commit to it, and start building. And congratulations, you're one video closer to who you're meant to be. Believe. Now let's learn how you can stop sabotaging your own success. You are sabotaging your own business without even realizing it. Do you feel like you're working hard but not getting results? It's time to find out if you're making one of the 5 huge mistakes that self-taught entrepreneurs often make. Stick around because fixing even just one of these could change your business forever. Mistake number 1, trying to do it all yourself and not asking for help. You might be thinking self-taught means you have to figure out everything on your own, and this is a huge mistake. No one can do everything alone. When you try to be the lone wolf, you miss out on other people's experience and insight. It's hard to see the forest among the trees, as they say. A mentor or advisor can often spot the solution to a problem that has you stumped. Even the greatest entrepreneurs have coaches, mentors, support networks. Here's some proof. A survey from the UPS store found 70% of small businesses that receive mentoring survive more than 5 years, which is double the survival rate of businesses with no mentors. In the same survey, 88% of business owners with a mentor said that having one was invaluable. Another study found that 1/3 of successful entrepreneurs had a mentor or support group versus only 14% of entrepreneurs who failed. So the evidence and all the data, it's clear. Going it alone is actually hurting you. So what should you do instead? Ask for help. Find someone who's been where you are and learn from them. This could be a mentor, a business coach, or even a peer group of fellow entrepreneurs. You'll make decisions with more confidence and avoid pitfalls others have already learned from. Remember, being self-taught doesn't mean refusing guidance. It means you take charge of your own learning. The smartest entrepreneurs are always learning from others. As the saying goes, if you're the smartest person in the room, you're in the wrong room. So drop the ego, reach out, and build your dream with others. You'll get further, faster, with a little help. Mistake number 2, winging it without a clear plan. Running a business without a plan is like going on a road trip without a map. You might be busy driving, but you have no idea if you're heading in the right direction. Many self-taught entrepreneurs make the mistake of just winging it. They dive into work each day, just reacting to whatever happens without a clear strategy or goals. Figure it out as you go can only take you so far. The result is you waste time and money, you chase shiny objects, or you stall out because you don't know what your next step should be. Here is why a plan matters. Entrepreneurs who plan are far more likely to succeed. Research shows that writing a business plan significantly increases your chances of success. One review found that entrepreneurs with a formal plan were twice as likely to successfully grow their business and secure funding. Another study found that entrepreneurs with business plans are 260% more likely to actually launch their company and 30% more likely to grow it. But despite these benefits, only about 1/3 of business owners ever actually finish a business plan. So don't let that be you. Even writing down your goals makes you 42% more likely to achieve them. That's a simple step that pays off in a big way. It doesn't have to be a giant plan. Having a plan doesn't mean you can't adapt or be lean. It means you set clear goals and a basic roadmap for how to reach them. You can always update the plan as you learn, but start with something. Define your target customer, figure out your product or service, your pricing, and how you're going to actually market your thing and deliver value. Set milestones for the next 6 months and year. This gives you a sense of direction each day. You'll know what success looks like and how to measure it. Without a plan, anything can distract you. With a plan, you can wake up each morning knowing the top 1 to 2 things you need to focus on today. You become proactive instead of reactive. So take some time to map out your business. It doesn't have to be a 50-page document. Don't stress out, don't overanalyze. Even a 1-page plan or bullet point list of goals is better than nothing. You'll be amazed at how much clarity you get by writing things down. So stop winging it and start planning it. Your future self will thank you when your business stays on track and starts hitting its targets. Mistake number 3, lacking discipline and consistency in your habits. Freedom is one reason you became an entrepreneur, right? No boss, no time clock. But here's the trap. Without discipline, that freedom can destroy your business. Self-taught entrepreneurs often treat their business like a hobby instead of a job. They work on it when they feel motivated and slack off when they don't. Or they get caught in procrastination and busy work instead of the hard tasks that actually matter. Inconsistent effort leads to inconsistent results. The reality is successful entrepreneurship takes a lot of hard work and consistent habits. It's not a 4-hour work week fantasy. In fact, most business owners work longer hours than employees. One study found 33% of small business owners work over 50 hours per week, and 25% work more than 60 hours. Many even put in the time on weekends and vacations. Why? Because when you're building something of your own, you get out what you put in. If you only put in half-hearted effort, don't be surprised when you get half-hearted results. But it's not just about the raw hours, it's about habits and consistency. Research from Duke University found that over 40% of our daily actions are governed by habit, not conscious decision. That means nearly half of what you do each day is just on autopilot. If you develop good habits like dedicating 2 hours every morning to high priority work or making those sales calls daily, it will carry you through even when your motivation is low. On the flip side, if you fall into bad habits, sleeping in, scrolling social media, reacting to emails all day, your business will suffer. You won't even realize how much time is slipping away because habits run silently in the background. So to avoid this mistake, treat your business like a serious commitment. Set a schedule for yourself. You don't need a 60-hour grind if that's not realistic for you, but do decide on consistent work times and stick to them. For example, you might commit to working on your business from 8 a.m. to 1 p.m. every weekday before any other activities. Create a routine. Maybe you review your goals each morning. You tackle the hardest task first, right? Eat that frog. You dedicate certain days to specific needs. Mondays are for marketing. Tuesday is for your product development, etc. Also, eliminate the distractions when you're working. Turn off your notifications. Let your friends and family know that those hours are secret. Being your own boss means you must boss yourself around. No one else will do it. Consistency beats intensity. It's better to move the ball forward every single day with solid habits than to work in erratic bursts of inspiration. Those small daily actions will compound over time, and that consistency builds trust with your customers and momentum in your growth. So, set up habits that make you productive by default. Make success your daily routine. When discipline becomes a habit, your business will start to run like a well-oiled machine, and you will start to reap the rewards. Mistake number 4, ignoring your market and customers. Building something no one wants. This mistake is a silent killer, pouring your heart into a product or service without checking if anyone actually needs it. Self-taught entrepreneurs can fall in love with their idea and assume, if I build it, people will come. Right? They spend months or years developing a business in a bubble. No market research, no customer feedback, only to launch to the sound of crickets. It's devastating and it's common. Building something nobody wants is one of the top reasons that new businesses fail. So don't just take my word for it. Research by CB Insights found that no market need is the #1 reason startups fail. In fact, one report showed that 8 of the top 12 reasons startups fail are related to poor product market fit, basically making something that nobody wants. Think about that. The majority of failures happen not because the founders weren't smart or they didn't work hard, but because they didn't solve a real problem for customers. Another analysis found that 34% of startups' failures were due to a poor product market fit, and 22% failed from not having the right marketing plan. If no one wants your product, even the best marketing won't save you. The market is the ultimate judge. If you ignore it, you're running on hope, you're not running on reality. So, to avoid this mistake, put your customer at the center from day one. Don't be afraid to get out there and talk to people who might have the problem you're trying to solve. It can be as simple as having conversations with your target audience or doing quick surveys. Ask them about their biggest problems and needs in the area that you want to help them serve. Listen more than you talk. Don't lead the witness by pitching your idea too soon. Just learn what they truly care about. And as you gather these insights, be ready to pivot or to tweak your idea to better solve the real pain points that you discover. This is not meant to be a blow to your ego. It's how you craft something people actually want to buy. Also, try to test your idea early and cheaply. If you have a product concept, creating a rough prototype or even a sketch and get feedback on it. If it's a service, try a small pilot program or consult with a few potential clients. The goal is to validate that your solution resonates with people. Are people saying, I need this, or when can I have it? Or are they lukewarm? Early feedback is gold. It's far better to learn and adjust in the beginning than to spend all your money on a full launch that then flops. Remember, feedback isn't criticism, it's direction. It guides you to shape your business into something that will work. At the end of the day, your business exists to serve customers, to solve a problem, to bring value. When you align what you offer with what people genuinely need and value, you create that win-win relationship. Customers get something they love, and you get a growing, profitable business. So fall in love with the customer, not just your product. Do your homework on your market. Stay curious, ask questions, and never assume that you know it all. The more that you listen and adapt, the less likely you are to build something useless. Solve a real problem, and you'll never have to worry about finding customers. They will come to you. Mistake number 5. Being afraid of failure and giving up too soon. Entrepreneurship is tough and not every attempt will succeed. But the biggest mistake self-taught entrepreneurs make here is taking failure too personally and giving up when things go wrong. You might hit a roadblock, a product launch fails, a client backs out, the revenue isn't coming in as fast as you hope, and you think, I'm just not cut out for this, so you quit. That is the only guaranteed way to fail permanently. The truth is, failure is not the end unless you stop trying. Every successful entrepreneur has faced setbacks. The difference is they learn from them and they keep going. I love the mindset that failure is feedback. In fact, every failure teaches you something valuable. It does. It shows what not to do or how to do it better the next time. Failure is only failure if you don't learn from it. If you treat each failure as a lesson, you actually haven't failed at all. You have grown. It's like getting feedback from the market or from life on how to improve. And guess what? Everybody fails on their path to success. This isn't just a nice saying, it's reality. The road to success is paved with trial and error. The most legendary business leaders, inventors, creators, they all had flops and outright disasters before figuring it out. They succeeded because they didn't quit after those failures. There's a famous quote, I have not failed. I've just found 10,000 ways that won't work. That's Thomas Edison, the inventor of the light bulb, humorously reminding us that every no gets us closer to a yes. Success usually takes longer than we want to believe. Too many people just give up in year 1 or 2, just when things might have started to click if they had persisted a bit more. So how do you embrace failure in a healthy way? First, expect it. This doesn't mean you're aiming to fail, but don't be shocked when something doesn't work. It's just part of the process. Adjust your mindset to see failure as a teacher, not as a verdict on your ability and that you suck. When something goes wrong, take a step back and ask, why did this happen? What can I learn from this? How can I adjust and come back better? Maybe your marketing message was off. Maybe you targeted the wrong audience. Maybe you simply need more patience for your strategy to actually play out. Use that insight to pivot and refine your approach. And then you try again. And keep in mind that resilience, it's like a muscle. Every time that you get over some setback, you start to build that muscle. You get a little bit tougher and smarter. And over time, you become more and more unstoppable because no failure can break you. You always find a way to adapt. This is crucial for self-taught entrepreneurs because you're learning as you go. Not everything will be perfect on your first try. Give yourself permission to fail and learn in public. It's better to launch imperfectly and then iterate and improve than to hold back because you are afraid. And most importantly, don't quit on your dream just because it's harder than you thought. If you truly believe in what you're doing, then keep pushing. You might be closer to a breakthrough than you think. Remember that every overnight success story has a hidden chapter of years of effort and setback. So keep going, even when it's tough. Perseverance is going to be your superpower as an entrepreneur. Use it. The beautiful thing about mistakes is that they don't define you, they educate you. Now we've covered the 5 huge mistakes to avoid. You have the power to course correct. Ask for help when you need it. Plan your path so you're not drifting aimlessly. Build rock solid habits that drive you forward every day. Obsess over your customers and make sure you're giving them real value. And above all, don't let fear of failure stop you. Every entrepreneur's journey is a work in progress. You're going to have ups and downs, victories and defeats. That is normal. What matters is that you stay in the game and keep going. Learn from every misstep and keep moving. Success is not reserved for only the geniuses or the lucky ones. It's for the ones who keep improving and keep going. So you've chosen a challenging path, being an entrepreneur, but it's also a rewarding one. You have a vision inside you and the world needs to see it. So Take this video as your wake-up call and hopefully your pep talk. It's time to double down on your growth. Correct the mistakes if you've been making them, and you'll see the difference in your business and in yourself. You already have everything it takes to win. Now go out there and make it happen. And remember, the only way you truly fail is if you stop trying. Now let's learn how you can start to dominate your niche as a beginner. Most beginners on social media won't win. You post a few times, you play it safe, you blend into the crowd. If you look like everyone else, no one will remember you, and if you are easy to ignore, you will be ignored. Think about James Dyson. For years, he was broke and frustrated, working out of a tiny workshop while everyone told him that his idea would never work. He believed vacuum cleaners were flawed, so he set out to build a better one. What most people do not know is that Dyson failed 5,126 times. Prototype after prototype did not work. Investors said no. Manufacturers laughed at him. Anyone else would have quit long before that, but he kept going. On attempt number 5127, the vacuum finally worked. That one breakthrough turned into Dyson, a global brand worth billions of dollars now. Dyson did not win because he was lucky. He won because he was willing to look foolish and persist when everyone else would have stopped. If a man can fail over 5,000 times and still win, what is your excuse as a beginner? My own journey was no different. When I started on YouTube, I sucked. I'm not afraid to admit it. It took me 350 videos before I could make one without being completely embarrassed by my content. I couldn't even watch my first videos back. I'd hit play and cringe at myself. And the growth was painfully slow. In the first 6 years of YouTube, I gained 9,000 subscribers. 6 years, 9,000 subscribers. That's basically nothing by today's standards. I felt like a failure many times. I struggled with self-doubt every day. But I kept going. I kept making videos. I kept improving one tiny step at a time. And then things started to happen. In the next 6 years, those 9,000 subscribers grew to over 2 million. And those breakthroughs only came after years of struggle and persistence. If I had quit in year 5 or 6 because it felt hopeless, nobody would even know my name today. Now, you might be thinking, okay, but Evan, I'm a nobody online. Who's going to listen to me? I'm not a leader. Listen, every influencer that you admire, every leader that you respect, they all started with 0 followers. Nobody gave them permission to lead either. They decided to lead. They stepped up, they shared their voice, and they did the work long before they had an audience. Leadership isn't a title that you are given, it's a skill that you develop. And so by showing up consistently, by serving others, if you wait until you feel like a leader, guess what? You'll never post a thing. You become a leader by acting like one before anyone believes in you. So yes, even a beginner with 0 followers, you can be a leader. In fact, that's the only way that you become one. So before we get into the how, I want to give a quick shout out to Jackie Wood from my school community. Jackie asked, as a beginner on social media, what would be your top 3 suggestions to stand out as a leader in your niche? So Jackie, I love this question. This video is for you, and I promise by the end of it, you'll have a clear game plan to rise up as a leader. All right, let's do it. Here are my top 3 suggestions for any beginner who wants to stand out as a leader on social media. Tip number 1, share your story and be real. The fastest way to blend in online is to fake it. The world is full of all these cookie cutter creators trying to be perfect, never showing any real part of themselves. That's exactly why you must be authentic and share your story. Nobody has your journey, your quirks, your voice, so lean into that. Be the real you, not the polished, fake imitation version of somebody else. So when I say share your story, I mean the real stuff, the struggles, the awkward moments, the things that you might be afraid to put out there, because ironically, those are the things that actually make people remember you. And so here's some proof. I once went to a fancy event in Los Angeles, VIP dinner, the works, and I hated it. I'm an introvert. Small talks in big groups, it drains me. So instead of schmoozing, I snuck off to a Subway across the street, got a sandwich, and ate alone in the hotel lobby. And I pulled out my phone and I filmed a quick video confessing how out of place and introverted I felt, and that it's okay to recharge alone. I posted it to my Instagram, I think on YouTube. You know what happened? The response was overwhelming. So many people commented things like, "Thank you for saying that. I thought I was the only one who felt like an imposter at those events." And by sharing my vulnerability instead of hiding it, I made a deeper connection with people. People trust you when you're real. They see a leader who's human, not some untouchable fake plastic guru. Even science backs this up. So psychologists talk about the pratfall effect. So basically, people actually find you more likable when you show your imperfections. One study found that authenticity and vulnerability build stronger emotional connections with an audience than trying to appear perfect, especially at the beginning. So your followers aren't looking for flawless, they're looking for relatable. So share that story about how you spilled coffee on your notes right before a big client call, or share the mistake that taught you a really hard lesson. Those moments make you stand out because everyone else is too busy hiding their cracks behind a pretty facade. When you share your story, two amazing things happen. First, you become impossible to copy, right? Competitors can steal your style or your topics, but they can't steal you, your unique life experiences. And second, you build trust. You signal, hey, I'm not here to impress you. I'm here to help you, warts and all. And trust becomes everything. People follow leaders that they trust. Remember, people don't buy from brands. They buy from humans that they trust. So show them the human side of you. Now, maybe you're still worried. Won't sharing my flaws make me look weak? No, it makes you look real. It makes you look courageous. Brene Brown calls vulnerability the birthplace of innovation, creativity, and change. So being real is a form of leadership. Plus, sharing your challenges lets you flip them into lessons for your audience. So as a leader, everything you've overcome is a roadmap for someone who's coming up behind you. So your story might be exactly what someone in your niche needs to hear right now. And one more thing. Don't hide yourself. In my early years, I was terrified to put me front and center. I figured I'll just share famous entrepreneurs' lessons and stay behind the camera. I told my agent, I have no desire to be famous. I don't like the spotlight on me. I'm introverted. But he pushed me and finally said something that really changed my perspective. So he said, the more people know you, the more people you can serve. And that really hit me. By staying invisible, I was actually limiting the impact that I could have. I realized that if I believe in my message, I have to be willing to be seen. So I'm telling you what I had to tell myself. Don't be afraid to share you. Show your face, speak in your voice, tell your story. It's not about ego or look at me. It's about service. If you can help someone with your story, then you must. The world needs what you have. Hiding helps no one. Sharing will make you stand out because so few have the courage to do it. Number 2, stay consistent. Want to know a secret weapon that 90% of beginners never develop? Consistency. The internet is littered with abandoned accounts and dead channels. The truth is, most creators quit before they even break through. Over 90% of YouTube channels never reach 10,000 subscribers. Not because they aren't talented, but because they give up too soon. They post a few videos, they don't get the results that they hope for, they get discouraged, and then they just vanish, they disappear. Consistency is rare, which is exactly why it'll make you stand out. So if you simply keep showing up while others are fading away, you'll already be in the top echelon. So show up for 1 year and you'll be shocked at where you end up. If you show up every day for the next year, you won't recognize your life a year from now, but you have to last that long first. The first year is brutal for almost everyone. Slow growth, little to no money. The algorithm plays games with your sanity. It's basically a hazing process to get started. It's supposed to be hard. It's like a test to see who actually wants it and who's going to quit. Most people fail that test, but not you, not now, right? You're here, you're listening to this, so I know you're serious. So I'm telling you now, decide that you will not quit no matter how slow it feels. Commit to consistency. Post that podcast every week. Drop a video every Tuesday, whatever your schedule is. Stick to it religiously. When your competition falls off in month 3 or 6, your consistency will make you shine. Remember my story, 350 terrible videos, 5 to 6 years of almost no audience. I could have said, this isn't working, I should stop. That's probably the logical, sane thing to do. I felt that way many times, but the difference between the people in the social media graveyard and the leaders you look up to that are still standing is that the leaders kept going when everyone else gave up. It's not about never getting tired or never doubting yourself. It's about continuing despite that. It's about being stubborn on your mission, but flexible on your methods. If one video flops, make the next one better. If you go 3 months and there's no growth, learn and adapt, but don't disappear. Most creators burn out because they try to sprint what is a marathon. They post like crazy for a short time and then exhaust themselves. Pace yourself, but stay in the game. So here's a pro tip. Expect to suck at the start. It's okay. Give permission to yourself to be bad while you're getting better. I didn't want to accept that at first. I wanted my first videos to be great from day one. And when they weren't, I beat myself up. I've since learned to embrace the process. You heard the stats, right? From me, 350 videos until I made one that I could watch without cringing, and 700 until I actually made myself proud of my content. That's the reality behind anyone you see killing it online. There's a mountain of unseen, unimpressive work that came before. So don't compare your first steps to somebody else's middle. Your job is to just keep taking those steps. You are on the cusp of something great. Just a little more patience, a little more effort, and you'll get there. And it's true, the ones who win are the ones who outlast. Be the tortoise, not the hare. Slow and steady, consistently improving will beat the flashy sprinter who quits halfway. And one more thing on consistency. Make sure you actually enjoy something about what you're doing. Leaders have passion. You rarely see someone win long-term at something that they hate. If you despise making videos, maybe writing blogs or doing podcasts is more your style. So do that. Find a format and a topic that you love enough to stick with it when it's not giving you rewards yet. Passion is what fuels persistence. If you love the process, you can endure the pain. If you don't, you'll find excuses to stop. So create content around something that actually energizes you, that you care deeply about. That energy is infectious and it will keep you going. So for me, I'm a visual learner and I love modeling success. That's why I chose YouTube and profiling famous entrepreneurs, because I genuinely find it fun and inspiring 16 years later. It gave me energy even when the numbers were small. So figure out what aspect of creating that you enjoy and lean into that. It will make consistency so much easier for you. Number 3, serve your audience no matter how small. Leadership isn't about you. It's about them, right? The people you serve. If you want to stand out as a leader on social media, focus obsessively on providing value and helping your audience win. Too many beginners chase clout or vanity metrics. They ask, how can I get more views? How can I look like an expert? So just switch that mindset a bit. How can I make a real difference for every person who watches my content? When you approach content like that, you immediately separate yourself from 99% of the newbies. You're not just another person shouting for attention. You're someone who actually genuinely cares, and that becomes magnetic. It doesn't matter if you have 10 followers or 10,000. Serve those 10 like they're the most important people in the world, because to you, as a leader, they should be. Don't get obsessed with who's not following you. Focus on who is in the room, no matter how few. I remember getting 50 views on a video and feeling discouraged. 50 views, that's nothing, right? But then I just mentally reframed it. If I was given a talk at a library and 50 people showed up to hear, I'd be thrilled, right? That's a packed room for a newbie speaker. Those are 50 human beings who gave me their time. And that shift in perspective changed everything. I stopped seeing only 50 and started feeling grateful for every single viewer. So then I doubled down on serving those people, responding to comments and answering questions. And like this one, this is a question and answer video, making content that addresses their struggles. And guess what? More people came. Slowly at first, but they came because people feel it when you care. They tell their friends, they stick around. Loyalty is built one person at a time. So Evan from 20 years ago didn't understand this. I thought success was all about the numbers. And I was so ashamed when the numbers weren't there. I even hid my struggles. I was too embarrassed and too ashamed to tell my friends that I was failing and that I was broke. I put on a fake smile and I'm living the entrepreneur dream while quietly stressing out about how I would survive. I thought I had to appear successful, but I was wrong. What I needed was to ask for help, to be honest, and to focus on the impact, not my fragile ego at the time. And eventually I learned impact over ego. Forget looking cool. Just create value. Solve real problems. Encourage people. Share knowledge generously. Do it even when few people are listening. And you'll earn a reputation as someone who cares and who delivers. That is leadership. Also, don't be afraid to engage and build community, right? Leadership on social isn't just a one-way broadcast. It can be a conversation. Reply to that one comment that you got. Thank people for watching the video. Shout out a community member like we're doing, for Jackie right here. Make your followers feel seen. People, they crave connection. If you give them that, they will remember you. They'll see you as a leader with them, not just above them. So one of my favorite things to do is to feature members of Believe Nation, you guys, in the videos at the start of all the videos, right? Leave a hashtag Believe and we'll feature you here in a future video. We rise together. So even if your community is 5 people right now, engage those 5 like they're friends and allies. Service also means constantly asking, how can I help my audience more? So maybe that's through your content. Maybe it's through a free resource like the worksheet that I mentioned here in the description below. Maybe it's just by listening to their struggles. When you focus on serving, 2 really important things happen. First, you never run out of content ideas because their needs and questions give you an endless supply of what to work on. And second, you position yourself as the go-to leader in your niche because people can tell you're in it for them, not just for yourself. The leaders who last are mission-driven. And so what I try to remind myself of is your purpose comes from your pain. The struggles that you've overcome equip you to help other people. I started my channel to serve the 19-year-old version of me who felt lost and had no guidance. I knew exactly what that kid was going through. And I was obsessed with trying to help him and others struggling like him, right? Not struggle as much as I did. And I wasn't thinking about the fame or the money. I was thinking, how can I make the journey easier for someone else? When that's your driving force, you stand out. People can feel the difference between a leader who genuinely cares and a selfish content creator just looking for clout. And hey, if you have the ability, then you have the responsibility, as my mom always said, to use it. If you can help, then you must. And that mindset will set you apart. Most people hold back their best advice or dilute their message because they're just trying to sell something or they're afraid of giving too much. But not you, right? Not now. You're gonna give massive value upfront. You're gonna share your best ideas freely. Why? Because you actually want to see people win. And what it does is build trust and positions you as a leader that people want to follow. The world needs what you have. Don't ever forget that. There are people out there right now who are praying for the solutions and encouragement and empowerment that you have locked in your head or your heart. So go give it to them. That's how you lead. That's how you stand out. So let me recap the 3 suggestions real quick. Be authentic, share your story, your flaws and all. Be consistent, show up relentlessly when others won't, and be service-driven. Focus on helping your audience, not boosting your ego. You do those 3, and you will absolutely stand out as a leader in your niche, no matter if you're starting at 0 today. I know it's not easy. None of this is easy, but it's worth it. You have something special to offer, and the beginning is always the hardest. Remember, the leader you admire is just a beginner who refused to quit. Keep going. I believe in you, but more importantly, I want you to believe in yourself. To learn how to make your business grow faster and master the art of saying no, check the video right there next to me. I think you'll love it. Continue to believe, and I'll see you there. Saying yes to everything is destroying your business growth. You want to scale quickly? Start saying no to most opportunities in your life. That's the truth. In business, new ideas, requests, and opportunities hit you every day.